How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. I am your host, FaZe Crypto, and today we will be talking about Cardano. And of course, we have a pretty interesting news item to start off the video with here. Cardano team at PwC workshop in London to align everyone with Cardano's vision. So IOHK has recently hinted at the appearance of the team behind the push for success in Cardano ecosystem at PwC workshop in London, United Kingdom. This team comprises Emergo, the commercial arm of Cardano, Cardano Foundation, and IOHK. According to the report, the purpose of the presence at PwC is to discuss the commercial strategy of Cardano. And I think that this is pretty interesting. It's definitely something that I think will go a long way. Of course, Cardano, I think, has got really one thing going for it, and that's the scientific basis, the foundation, the technology, and all these other things I think are forward thinking, in particular in the realm of cryptocurrency, which is already forward thinking realm. So when we talk about Cardano, being a leading blockchain sort of figure, definitely is interesting. In other news, we have Bitcoin currently at 9,133. The $9,000 level was a psychological resistance, but I think that the question is what's going to happen. Is Bitcoin going to tank again? There's plenty of technical analysis out there that indicates we could see another major dip. I think that right now, the sort of Corona sort of thing is very widely underestimated, in particular with a lot of different markets. And I think the effects of it are yet to be seen. But of course, we did see the early stages of that sort of were responsible for pushing Bitcoin and holding it up around that $10,200 level. But then again, fear is a cousin to uncertainty and unpredictability, which of course was responsible for pushing the price down, in a lot of different respects. There's multiple different variables at work here. Not going to completely just ascribe it to the pandemic sort of thing, but I did want to comment on that because I know that I have downplayed the sort of the aspect of that and how it has affected the markets in the past, and many people have called me out on it and commented. So I think that it is important to look at that. And if you're interested in seeing my full perspective, taking into consideration a lot of these different events, the halving in particular, definitely tune in for the live stream where we do conduct technical analysis. Make sure that you subscribe with post notifications turned on so that you don't miss that. Now, of course, price analysis, March 6th. This is an interesting, roughly 42% of the total Bitcoin supply has not moved in the past 2 years. This shows that investors are holding on to their Bitcoin as they expect the price to rally further. Of course, is interesting. More on that later. Of course, this is an interesting, of course, the New York power plant mining 50K worth of Bitcoin a day. We have talked about that in the past, but it is definitely still interesting. Of course, something important to talk about. It also is sort of a forward-thinking aspect, to look into the future and, of course, see, how a lot of these different things have been making definitely a big impact. We will see some pretty interesting things happening in the space, as things move forward and thus far. So, it is exciting just to see how a lot of different aspects of cryptocurrency have been making some interesting developments. And I will be very excited to continue to cover them. This video right here I wanted to talk about, it's kind of a meme, but Bitcoin is digital gold. It's only a minute long, so I think we're going to play it, give you guys some context.
And talking about this since cryptocurrencies emerged, but we haven't seen it. But that's not to say we won't see it. And if we do see it, yes, you could see a return to an era in the United States where we had many different currencies and, in the so-called, national banking era.
All right. If a cryptocurrency system were to become prevalent throughout the globe, would that diminish or remove the need for a reserve currency in the traditional sense?
I think that things like that are possible, but we really haven't seen them. We haven't seen widespread adoption. Bitcoin is a good example. Really, almost no one uses Bitcoin for payments. They use it more as an alternative to gold, really. It's a store of value. It's a speculative store of value, like gold. So we don't have, and people, of course, have been talking about this since cryptocurrencies emerged, but we haven't seen it. But that's not to say we won't see it. And if we do see it, yes, you could see a return to an era in the United States where we had many different currencies, and in the so-called, I guess, national banking era.
So Jerome Powell definitely has a very interesting point there where he talks about Bitcoin as gold. And I'm not holding him to a fault, and I definitely just think that it is interesting, talking about how it is within their scope of vision to think about, the United States, returning to an era where we have multiple different currencies, and just the fact that that's a realm of possibility, that they see that within their scope, that conversation's taking place does mean a lot. We will see, when he talks about multiple different currencies, he's not talking about just Bitcoin. And I think when we really look at, decentralized public blockchain, source, Cardano and smart contracts, and the like, will be a very interesting part to play. It's a long way off, though. I mean, short term, it is happening much quicker than people give it credit for. But at the same time, it is a huge paradigm shift, and it's not going to happen overnight. So there is time for the price of Bitcoin to go up. There's time for it to go down. There's time for all sorts of different action to take place. And he does have an interesting point there. And I think we see a lot of interest with people treating Bitcoin in the sort of as a swing trading, day trading, and all these other things, can't be ignored. So it will be interesting just to see how the technology from that sort of point of view, continues to play up. So just looking at some of these different news items, Chinese, token plus moving 11.7M, research firm. This is interesting as well. We'll go into this article I wanted to talk about. It does lend itself to the points that I was making earlier, but a Bitcoin breakdown could be devastating, for some of the altcoins, but I think it is inevitable. I have talked about Bitcoin as a sort of 2008 technology, and of course, you don't see people using MySpace much anymore, but that's a conversation for another video. Anyway, Corona, yet another Bitcoin event postponed due to CEO, of course, fears. Although those in the Bitcoin community pride themselves on distracting themselves from the institutions of the old world, cryptocurrency and blockchain are inextricably tied to the events taking place in the outside world, so to say. Definitely interesting. I did see a very rather thought tweet which talked about the potential for putting off the halving. They said, I believe it said 60% chance, according to this Twitter user, that the halving could be delayed because we still haven't fully seen the results. So that would be interesting, unprecedented, but still interesting. And of course, it's yet to pervade upon us, but it will be something that I believe does affect the price. Now, whether these things do transpire or not, or whether they go business as usual, remains to be seen, but still very interesting nonetheless. Top performers, we do have Steam coming in with 8.45%. Definitely an interesting one there. KuCoin shares, Kyber Coin Network, Zilliqa. Interesting. Regardless, remember, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. I'm not your dad. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm merely here sharing with you my opinions now on the space and all these things that happen. So remember to do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and make your own decisions, because this is a high risk, high volatility space. But I still remain a Bitcoiner. I still remain an advocate of cryptocurrencies and will continue to do so and make this content for you guys. So remember to subscribe, comment down below. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. And of course, stay relevant.